The Stars rolled into Montreal and left no doubt. The Canadiens get steamrolled by Dallas in an offensive clinic, 7-0. Put the NHL on notice because Jason Robertson is heating up. Let's break down the dismantle of the Canadiens and how the road hockey formula is working to perfection.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Friday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. The Dallas Stars have won 4 games in a row after a 7-0 thumping of the Canadiens last night at the Bell Center. The Stars offense exploded. The 5-on-5 offense exploded. The power play came to play. Casey DeSmith picks up the shutout and an absolutely dominating performance offensively by the Dallas Stars in Montreal. We're going to break it all down on today's episode of Locked On Stars. And now Jason Robertson is starting to heat up. All he needed was one the other night, and now the goals are going to keep on coming. The road hockey formula for Glen Goldson is working to perfection as well. We're going to break down some of the numbers here early this season for the Stars away from the AAC, and we're going to play Galaxy grades as well to kick you off into the weekend. Let's have some fun. Enjoy another Stars victory. As always, thank you so much for the love and support on this one. What a victory for Dallas. I just want to go through a couple of the statistical nuggets from the game last night. Then maybe in the next segment or toward the tail end of this one, we'll jump into some of the nuances of the game as well. But Dallas just completely puts on an offensive clinic. 7 goals on 19 shots. They were outshot 24-19. And the Canadiens also had some really good looks in this game, especially early. I think this could have been a high-scoring affair, but Dallas just buried every look that they seemed to have in the contest. But 7 goals on 19 shots, 15 different players ended up registering a point last night, including all 6 defensemen. I don't think I've ever seen that. Yes, all 6 defensemen, Miro with an assist, Bichel with an assist, Lindell with a goal, Petrovic with the goal, Labushkin with an assist, and Harley with an assist as well. All 6 defensemen had exactly 1 point. That is remarkable. I don't think we have ever seen that with the Dallas Stars as well. Another one, the Stars entering last night had never scored more than 6 goals or won by more than 3 goals against Montreal in 72 total games. That streak came to an end last night. The Stars' 7-0 win was just the 4th time in franchise history the Stars dressed 6 defensemen, and all of them had points. Miro Haskonen picked up 300 career NHL points last night. The beat goes on for him as he picked up another helper. Wyatt Johnston scored his 300th point. I think it was 300 points as well last night. 300 points for Miro. I want to say 100 career goals, for Wyatt Johnston. Even when I said that, I thought that was a bit crazy since he hasn't been in the league that long. It was 100 career NHL goals as he picked up another power play goal. It was a beauty as the Stars worked the triangle to perfection. It was Hintz, Rantanen, Johnston back of the net as Jakob Dobes had a tough night in Montreal for the Canadiens. But Casey DeSmith picked up his 3rd shutout with the Dallas Stars. He has been excellent to start the season. I said after his last start, he's either been really good, like incredible, or he's been kind of awful in some of his starts. Well, he was perfect last night. He stopped all 24 shots faced, picks up another shutout, and secures the 4th win in a row for the Dallas Stars. Dallas goes 1 for 3 on the power play. They were 63% in the dots. It was a bit helter-skelter at points. It was a fast-paced hockey game, and the Stars were able to get some looks off the rush. They had the Canadiens caught up the ice a couple of times. The Sagan goal, which was just a perfect pass from Jason Robertson, and he is heating up. Robo with a couple of goals and an assist last night, a 3-point night for him. He led all players with 7 shots on goal, and it feels like the floodgates are opening. So I'm putting the entire NHL on notice. Jason Robertson is at the beginning of what I think is going to be a long, healthy, productive month of hockey for Jason Robertson. He just gets on these streaks, and it feels like everything he puts on net is going to find the back of the net. He played 18 minutes last night. He scored a couple of beauties. And going into the game the other night against Ottawa, I mentioned Robertson and said just needs to get his shooting percentage to sort of increase back to what has been his average over his career. And it just feels like one goal is going to send him on this upward trajectory. He got the one in Ottawa, and now boom, he's got 2 the next game, and hopefully that continues. He was excellent last night. Of course, so many different stars were. Petrovic actually graded out as the highest star, 6.1-0 game score. It was the highest score of the night. Jason Robertson was right behind him at 5.10. Robo is just doing it all right now. Funny enough, the Stars were outshot 14-19 at 5-on-5. They were outchanced 22-18. That goes back to my point. I think this could have been a really high-scoring affair, or even flip-flop the scores if the Canadiens maybe bear down on some of the early looks, since Dallas was on their heels a bit to begin the game. The Canadiens expected goals for was 2.25 at 5-on-5. The Stars was 1.65. And maybe some of this is the analytics don't tell the whole story. The Canadiens made a push in the third period especially, but the game was sort of out of reach. It was 5-0 after 2 periods. But the Stars scored six 5-on-5 goals. And that is a giant revelation. We've been asking for it, Stars fans. We've been asking for 5-on-5 production. Well, we got it last night, and the power play didn't suffer. They go 1 for 3, and that power play goal really spurred them on. Since Dallas had to weather the storm early, the Canadiens ended up outshooting Dallas 14-5 in that first period. And I would like for that to be I would like for that to be resolved at some point. Don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be negative after a 7-1 destroying of Montreal. We can get into that another day. But that power play goal just spurred them, right? They're on their heels. They get the first power play, and they really didn't muster up in the first minute and a half. And then boom, you have your best players out there. They go tic-tac-toe. And Johnston buries it sort of in that high slot area. He was in that bumper spot, and he picks up his 11th goal of the season. Man, he's been something. Look, I know he has gained a lot of his offense on the power play, but who cares? He's looked really dangerous at 5-on-5 too. The Stars are starting to keep Robo and Johnston a bit more. They started last night on different lines, but they put them together once again, and that's a dangerous combination when they're on the ice together with Johnston, Robo, and Rantanen, who was just I've ran out of superlatives to use for Rantanen, Johnston, all of them. They have just been workhorses for Dallas. They have been the Stars' best players. And Rantanen has 25 points now on the season. Johnston has, 23? The entire lineup was involved in this one. And that was a great sight. That was just an entire team performance for about 60 minutes for the most part, except early. And, there were stretches in the third period, but the game was 5-0. It's going to happen. And Dallas puts a beat down on them. And what a couple of individual performances. 15 different players register a point. Don't know if you could ask for much more from Dallas on the road last night. They've now won 4 in a row. Jason Robertson's heating up. But Glen Goldson, in the term road hockey, that formula is working to almost perfection to begin this season. Let's dive into some of that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth between 401ks, savings, investments. It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why you have to start using Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. It helps you organize your accounts, track your spending, and get a better handle on your investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money is going and how you can make it work harder for you, whether that's for yourself or even your partner. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. I want to thank you for making Locked On Stars your first listen of the day. And because all of you have done that, the Locked On Podcast Network is now the #1 sports podcast network. We're bragging a little since that was announced about a week and a half ago. So thank you so much for tuning in each and every day. Not only helps myself, but other hosts around the Locked On Podcast Network, like Locked On Cowboys, Locked On Rangers. Go ahead and show them some love. Locked On Mavs. I know they have a lot of crazy stuff going on now with the Mavericks, and I'm sure Stars fans do not feel bad, especially after the lawsuit and whatnot between the Stars and Mavs involving the American Airlines Center. But let's get into the Stars road hockey. Remember, Goldson was throwing that out. He doesn't want the Stars to just play road hockey on the road. He wants them to sort of integrate that into their identity, I suppose, in all games this season. But on the road specifically, the Stars are killing it. They are now 6-1-2 on the road this season. They had the third best points percentage away from home in 9 games, only behind Los Angeles and New York, who have played a few more games than Dallas. But look at the offensive numbers, 3.56 goals per game. That is 6th in the NHL. The Stars going into last night, I believe, ranked 19th in goals per game. So they're below average, but on the road, they are well above average, 6th in the NHL. Goals against, well, they are well above average as well, 2.67 goals per game during road contests this season. That is 10th in the NHL. So the Stars, I think, have maybe found their identity away from home this season better than they've been able to replicate that at home. For whatever reason, the Stars are playing a better brand of hockey. And I think we saw that really in the last 2 games. We saw the offense last night, and then you saw in Ottawa, the Stars having to claw their way back from down 2, had to be more physical, play with a bit of an edge, and grind their way to an overtime victory. And of course, last night, they just cruised their way. Their shots on goal per game is not really different. They actually rank 30th, so they're not producing a large quantity. This goes back to my quality versus quantity conversation we had earlier in the week. I think we're starting to see these trends all come to fruition. The Stars create dangerous looks. They just don't create a lot of them. And that's where I get worried. Is this sustainable? That's where we're going to have to keep a close eye on. Okay, at some point, if the Stars aren't burying these looks, what is it going to look like? Are they going to be able to claw their way out of these deficits? Or are they just going to get thumped like the Stars did to Montreal last night? Because, yes, they have some injuries, but I don't know if they totally know. I don't think we know what the Stars totally are at this point. They've been a bit inconsistent. They have some great nights. They have some great stretches. They have some really bad ones. So it's hard to evaluate what the Stars are right now, although we know what they do bring, because they have so much talent. Like, we know they can have offensive nights like that. We just haven't seen it consistently. We haven't seen it enough. But on the road, they've been really good for whatever reason. Their goaltending has been excellent, right? DeSmith picks up a shutout last night. You go to the road numbers for goaltenders in the league. DeSmith is up there. Jake Ottinger is 7th. They're not glowing, but 2.93 goals against. That's also within the top 10 of the NHL. Now, you just look at the Stars numbers. If you just look at individuals, like it's the big boys that are leading the charge, right? It's your superstars, it's your best players, which of course you have to have. You have to have Mikko Rantanen. He leads the way on the road. He has 13 points in 9 games. Robertson has actually 5 goals and 12 points on the road. Johnston has 8 points in 9 games. Then you have Harley. Then you have Miro. Then you have Rope. And then you get to Sam Steele, who I know is playing top line minutes, but is more of a depth role guy, right? So you have 6 guys, 6 of your core: Mikko, Robo, Johnston, Harley, Haskonen, Hentz. It's like your core. They're leading the charge offensively on the road. And then you get to your Steels. Then you get to your Foxes. You get to your Maverick Borks and Justin Ritskovians. By the way, I thought Borky and Ritskovian were excellent last night. They brought the juice in Montreal, a couple of hometown boys. And I thought they had a really, really strong night. That was great to see. They needed that. You could tell they were sort of relishing the fact they got to play there, and they both pick up an assist on Robo's second goal of the night. So that was a great story as well. But it's the big boys, right, that are sort of leading the charge offensively for Dallas on the road. We know their power play has been superb. It's 22% on the road. That's actually 8th. Their PK has been much better. They're actually top 10 on the PK on the road. They're virtually last at home, but they're rocking along at 85% on the road this season on the PK. They went 3 for 3 last night, so we're maybe seeing some signs they're starting to turn it around. They were perfect in Ottawa. I think it was 3 for 3 too. So they're starting to maybe find their groove on that side of special teams. I thought they did an excellent job of just taking away some of the passing lanes from Montreal last night on their opportunities. They kept working it down to Caulfield and Dallas. I give a lot of credit to Miro Lindell. Like, in front of the net, they were taking away those passing lanes, trying to work it, sort of across the top of the crease. And Montreal didn't get a ton of tasty looks. Hudson's special, of course, with the puck on his stick, but they limited him. And it showed. It showed last night. So the PK deserves a lot of big credit, because you could see the score. I think it's fair to say the score could have been flip-flopped if some things went differently. If DeSmith wasn't as strong as he was early, because the Canadiens produced quite a bit. 2.76 expected goals for in the contest. They had 28 scoring chances, and DeSmith over his last 2 starts has been great. Otter has been shaky recently, and DeSmith is a very serviceable backup, right? He's a very, very good backup, and that's the type of starts you need out of him. And he was great. He was great. What a night for Dallas. 7 goals on 19 shots. I don't think we're gonna see that the rest of the year. But this road hockey formula for Dallas is coming to fruition for Dallas, especially on the road. I'm sure the Stars would like to replicate that a bit more at home, but I think we've seen a better version. I think on the road we've seen more what the Stars are about this season, and I think how they want to play. And I can go back to the opening night against Winnipeg. Hard-nosed, physical. They can score when they get looks. Power play is going to be great. All those types of things, I think we sort of see who the Stars are. If they can bring that version to home, then I think you're going to see their level rise. And I mean, they've won 4 games, but you're really going to see the level of play rise. Maybe the 5-on-5 game starts to turn a corner. They still need to work on that. And maybe everything starts to fall into place. But what the Stars are on the road, I believe, is a better version right now. Not perfect, but a better version, I think, of where the Stars are trying to get. They have work to do, of course. It's not flawless, but last night it almost was. I guess as close to flawless as you could get in a 7-0 victory. Let's give some Galaxy grades for the Stars. Let me know who your supernova is, your shooting star, and your black hole. Who had a bad night last night? We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Drip Drop. When you're hydrated, everything just works better. Your focus, energy, mood, even your skin just feels better. And that's why Drip Drop is a doctor-developed hydration that keeps you running at full power no matter what your day looks like. It isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. One of the best things about Drip Drop is it actually tastes amazing. Sometimes you get those weird aftertastes with, hydration, flavors and whatnot. This is not the case. They have a great selection of different flavors, and it could just be a part of your daily routine, whether that's before you get to the gym, maybe that midday slump. It has become a non-negotiable hydration, correct? That's where Drip Drop comes in. And right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That's dripdrop.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard, and keep your body and mind performing at the best with Drip Drop. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for each and every game. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated, and then all of a sudden, you just don't even feel like going to the game. Well, do not worry, Stars fans, because Game Time is here for you. Game Time gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. You can see the view from your seat before you buy. They have these great things called zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can find NHL tickets for under $25. So use the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKED, own NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Galaxy Grades is back here on Locked On Stars. Haven't done it in a bit, but after some victories, we'll go ahead and deliver some of our Galaxy Grades. You have a black hole, which is something bad, something not good. You have a supernova, of course, which is the top, the grade, and then you have your shooting star, which is sort of your second star, if you will. It's sort of a version of 3 stars, but we're making it unique here to Locked On Stars. So some Galaxy grades here on a Friday. What are we going to do for a black hole? I think it's just simple. I think the Canadiens deserve the black hole. They get thumped 7-0 last night. The Stars, who have really struggled at 5-on-5, had an explosion. We'll give it to Dobas. He was not great for Montreal. We'll give it to Jakob Donis, the goaltender. He gets he gets the black hole for last night. Just not a start he was hoping to have. So a minus 3.50 game score. Montebo came in and gave up a couple as well. So maybe just the goaltending in general deserves the black hole for the Canadiens. My shooting start, we're just going to give it to the defensive crew, right? All 6 defensemen pick up a point, 4th time in Dallas Stars history. And Petrovic picks up a goal. Lindell picks up a goal. Who would have guessed that? Those two would have been the guys who scored the goals defensively for Dallas. But everybody registered a point. So the defensive group deserves a lot of love from last night. So the defensive core gets the shooting star, and our supernova. It goes to Robertson. DeSmith deserves, he's an honorable mention, but I'm giving it to Robo because we need to keep his spirits up. 2 goals and an assist. He leads the charge. If you look at some of his individual numbers from last night, a bit staggering. Robertson, 7 scoring chances for himself. Of course, he was on the ice for 3 goals, 7 scoring chances, or 7 shots, I should say. He was all over it last night, and hopefully that's just sort of a sign of things to come. Off to a bit of a slow start, but now they're gonna start coming in bunches, right? He's up to 6 goals on the season, and he's going to be heavily involved. So great stuff from him. He will be our supernova for tonight's version of Galaxy Grades. All righty, what a victory. What a fun week of hockey for the Dallas Stars. A little mini Canadian swing. They take a beat down. I just saw this. This was just sent out by Bar Down. The Stars handed the Canadiens their worst shutout loss since 1996. So how about that? More great things still sort of spilling out from that victory last night. Hey, yeah, baby, Stars. Big time win. They're back in action tomorrow. They got a couple of games at home against Philadelphia and New York. The Islanders come to town. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Stars. That wraps up another great week. As always, thank you so much for making us your first listen, making us a part of your day. And now Locked On Podcast Network is the #1 sports podcast network. Please be sure to comment. Let me know how you felt about this week of Stars hockey. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Stars fans, and I'll see you next week here on Locked On Stars. So long.